So we have with us, and I'm really excited to hear from Will. Will is an Information Lab UK Data School graduate whose career in data has landed him 10,000 miles away from home to Sydney, Australia, or to Sydney on a 6-month placement in the telecommunications industry. Will is taking us through a 20-minute talk on his journey for how data helped him land his dream job. So Will, take it away.
Cheers, Emily. Can you guys hear me? Hopefully.
Yes.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah,
good to go.
I'm in. Well, I hope it's going to be 20 minutes. We'll see. But yeah, so my name's Will. Go to who am I? So yeah, I'm originally from the UK. Lived in around London most of my life. But as part of the data school, which I'm an employee of, I got the opportunity to move to Sydney. Obviously, I didn't kind of want to pass that up. Had an interview with a couple of other people from the data school, but luckily I was picked to come over here. So I've only been working in Tableau for the last 5 months, actually. Before May this year, I'd never actually even heard of Tableau, let alone used it. But I'd used Excel a lot, and I was keen to kind of get stuck in straight away. But this presentation is just going to be about kind of the problems I faced trying to find a job, and kind of what led me to working for the Information Lab, because it was tough out there, and for the year that I wasn't in work, it was tricky to kind of apply for the right jobs. And I learned some useful kind of skills on the way, and hopefully I can share some of those with you. So if we just skip over to my career so far. So as soon as I left university, I started working for VML London, which is a digital marketing company. But I was only on a 12-month contract. I wasn't really enjoying it a super amount. So I let that contract run out, and I tried to join the RAF, which was my childhood dream. But unfortunately, medical problems that I had stopped me from doing that. And I kind of was in a bit of a rut after that, because those were kind of my dreams, and I couldn't find what I really wanted to do. So I started working for a local pub just to get some funds, but it wasn't what I wanted to do long term, obviously, and I had to work out a way of trying to find my dream job. So I used a lot a website called Reed. It's kind of just like a job aggregation site. But again, with no clear idea, it's very difficult to kind of filter down using just the filters they had there. So I must have applied to at least about 100 jobs in 2015 with kind of no success. I was having interviews, but I wasn't really kind of getting to the stage where I kind of found the job that for me. But all the interview practice really helped me in my job search. And although, that's not related to Tableau, that's probably the first key takeaway, is that do as many interview and as many speaking practices as you can, because it makes it so much easier when you do finally get the chance to go for your dream job, to have that practice ready for you. But anyway, so I'll explain a little bit more. I knew that I'd wanted to work in data of some kind of kind. I'd done some career counselling at the end of my time at university, and they recommended that I do some kind of work in data, or at least kind of IT. But that's pretty broad. So trying to search from that to find a job suitable is pretty difficult. So I actually initially looked to work for the government, because there was a lot of jobs out there for various government agencies to do with data assistant and data analyst, but the processes just took ages. And I eventually stumbled upon Reed, which I mentioned earlier, which is a good job aggregator, and they actually have an API. Now, before I obviously started working in Information Lab, I hadn't used Tableau, but I'd used APIs before, and I could actually download all the information, but I put it just into Excel. As you can see, this is a recreation of what I was working with. I know some horrible conditional formatting and everything, but I was just kind of using a big list like this, like 20,000 rows long, just to look through all the jobs a lot easier than looking through on the website, which was just filled with adverts and just mess that wasn't needed. So now that I know how to use Tableau, I thought it'd be a good way to show how you could use Tableau to optimize the search and to access APIs such as this one to look at your jobs. So this is my dashboard that I made, which is using that API from Reed, and it can be used as a kind of a filter to really find the jobs that you are looking for. So the first thing we'll do is have a look at maybe a data analyst kind of job. You can see that they're the longest bar. So the most jobs available are data analyst jobs. And it's not too dark in terms of the average number of applications. There's about 16 people that apply for each role. So compared to data entry, which is probably a more menial starting job, there's where there are 43 people on average that apply for each of those. It's probably the best starting point. So if we select that, you'll see that it starts filtering the salary. So I know from previous experience that I'm probably looking to earn around 20 to 30, maybe the kind of mid-20s to mid-30s on the min salary, and then again on the max salary. So if we select here, it'll start filtering everything else again. And I know that I want to work in London because I live near London. I can commute to London easily. So we can select from here, a little circle tool, do a little circle around London. And it filters this final table on the right here. So this is a list of all jobs that have matched our criteria. So again, it's still pretty long and you can filter even more. So let's say we want to filter our salary again. So if we zoom in to the scatter plot, I need to select the right tool, and we go over to that kind of job. That's a great feature. We go over to the kind of salary range that I'm looking at. So we're looking at between 25 and 30 and a max of probably 35. So we're looking around, it's in the wrong spot again, around here. If we select these ones, and you can see that we've only got London jobs available, which is perfect. So if we start looking down the list, we might see a job that kind of strikes us as ideal for us. So, oh, what's this one? It's the Information Lab Trainee Consulting Analyst. Average salary of 32, and we have a look, and we've got all the information about it, and we might want to look and apply to the job. And luckily, the API has brought through the URL. So we can just, where's my mouse gone? Pop that over, and there we go. This is the application that I did. Kind of very different to most of the applications that I'd done before, which was using Tableau itself as the job application rather than just sending in your CV or a cover letter. So I actually made a Tableau dashboard and sent that in as part of my job application. And from there is kind of where I moved on to where I am today. So a couple of other things I thought about what you could use Tableau for in kind of your daily life, because I think this is just a good example of where data visualization and analysis doesn't have to be just like a fancy picture or a really colorful chart or something. It can be something that's really kind of useful in your day-to-day life, and something that can be used to kind of really go down to the most granular level possible of the information that you have available to find the answers that you're looking for. So I had a couple of other ideas. Actually, I've got one. Where's my mouse going to go? So one of the things I was quite keen on looking at when I was at the data school, says a lot about the data school, was tracking the beer consumption and working out which beer is the most popular, when to buy them, when to stock beers and stuff like that. So a good Tableau dashboard and some kind of information logging via that kind of medium would be useful. Another thing that I did, I don't have access to it here, but was tracking my daily commute to kind of work out when's the best time to leave. If I left at different times, does it make my journey faster or slower? Can I spot trends in the commuting and the traffic on the way to work, depending on the years? And another one was tracking petrol prices around your local area. It's kind of a hot debate is whether it's worth traveling further away to get cheaper than it is staying where you are. So anyway, I think that's pretty much all I have. If anyone has any questions or kind of wants any more information about the data school, because I know it's quite a new thing. I was only in the third cohort. Then yeah, feel free to ask away. But in terms of my Tableau, that's pretty much it. I don't have any Q&A. What a shame.
There you go. There's one question on the chat that's come through, Will.
Oh, yeah.
So does Read have an open API, or did you need to pay anything for it to access the data?
Oh, no, it's completely free. So I'll bring it up on screen, actually, because it's very easy to use. Actually, it's a good shout. So if I bring this up, when it eventually loads, let me just take it off for a second. Yeah, it's very, very easy to, oh, here we go. Very easy to use, very easy to set up. Probably the easiest API I've ever used. I mean, this is the full documentation, which is that. So probably the easiest API to use. All you have to do is click this button, it generates an API key for you. And then you can just put that into whatever software you want to use. I used Alteryx. I can actually show you the flow that I used to pull the API. Very simple. All it does, it just runs through 100 records at a time, just for until it's reached a limit. So I just looked for 20,000 jobs around the London area. Let me just bring up.
Yeah, it'd be really good to see that workflow, Will, particularly if it's a really simple API for us to kind of.
Yeah, here we go. So it's a grand total of about 10 tools here. So all I'm doing in terms of this macro, which I just connect to an input and output in an actual workflow, is just base64 encoding my API key, adding that to the URL that I've specified. So here I've specified the read API URL, which just has keywords, data, location, London, for example. So pretty simple parameters. Limit it to 40 records a minute, which was the API limit set by Read, or I kind of worked it out. It just passes it's a JSON file, so we just have a JSON pass. I can actually run it and shows how quick it is. Well, it normally would be quick. Text to columns, a select, a cross tab, and you end up with, for some reason, you can't download on the work internet, something you have to do at home. But yeah, it's pretty quick, and you just end up with a CSV, kind of like the one I showed before. So it's just a large list of jobs that you can put directly into Tableau. I didn't have to do any kind of cleansing or anything. It's all in pretty nice format, so easy enough to. I'll just bring up the CSV to show you what it looks like. It just comes up with a CSV like this. You got your rows already named out. Everything's there that you need to kind of look for. You got the URL for the job title, the maximum, minimum salary available, and yeah, so you can put in whatever you wanted really, and it would bring back a whole list of jobs based on your search parameters that you entered in the API.
That's awesome, Will. Do you think that you'd be able to do a little small blog post? I'll put it up on my site, and you can share the workflow and maybe the workbook as well, so that people can take a look at it.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, yeah. So I can make this into a kind of an app. So you can enter your parameters. to specify whatever you want, and then it would return a list as jobs. Obviously, it's only UK based, which is a bit of a problem for TFF APAC, but it gives you a good idea at least.
Thanks, Will.